Hello, I'd like to welcome you to Classic Rewind. Today's video is going to be about adjusting and aligning your hood with your fenders and your bumper. There's some techniques that I was taught years ago on how to do it, and it's very simple, which you would not think it could be done. But that being said, this is a retro modified GTO that I'm doing, and everything is new, all aftermarket parts, everything that is actually in black. So this is a repop hood, a repop firewall, which is giving me a hard time. I think I went into that with my other videos. But in this video, I want to show you what I did. But this is the original fender, original bumper, driver side fenders original. The inner fenders are not original, and they're giving me a hard time as well. But I want to show you what you can do to adjust your hood. Right now this hood is pretty good. It fits very well, except for the front at the bumper right here. It's up about 1/4 of an inch, which I'm going to fix that as well by pushing down on the hood and lifting up the front end. But I noticed that the radiator core support needs to come up, needs to be raised about 1/2 of an inch to maybe a 3/8 in order for my fenders to line up properly with my firewall. So I'm going to show you how I got to this point. So give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay, I have the hinges installed. All right, so I want to show you how I got to this point. So these are factory hinges, okay? They're also repop. I have originals that I bought, I would say about 3 years ago, but I'm not going to use them. I'm going to use this to template it, and then I'm going to switch them out. I'm going to try to get fancier hinges, but in the meantime, I'm going to show you what I did to get to this point. So I'm going to bring you down here and show you exactly what needed to be done. I want to show you right now exactly the gaps that I have on the hood, and I'm going to reference what I need to do. Like I said before, the hood was really good. I put the tape on here so you could actually see the difference between the driver's side and the passenger side. So if you look here, this is the passenger side. You have about 1/4 of an inch right here. So, and it lines up fairly well with the fender right here. Okay, it's a little off by maybe 1/16 of an inch. So if you look over here, that gap looks pretty good. You have a larger gap here. It's hard to tell. I didn't put any tape here. But anyway, it gets tight right here. And as you come along the front, see, this is sticking up now. So what I need to do, like I said, is push it down. But you see when I push it down to line it up, that gap gets too tight. So that's telling me that the whole hood needs to go towards the firewall. And like I said, what I need to do is I need to lift up the radiator core support about 1/2 inch. So this is the driver's side. That gap is really nice, but if I paint it, it's going to be too tight. So it has to go to the left towards the driver's side, like I mentioned before, and that should be fine. And then over here, this gap in the center of the hood widens a little bit right there. That's going to need some work. That, I don't know if the fender's out. I haven't determined that yet. And this up here is awfully tight. So again, I have to either move the hood towards the passenger side, or I need to move the fender out. So there's still a little bit what I need to do, but I wanted to show you the different imperfections that I had to deal with putting this hood on. So now, that being said, I'm going to pop the hood up again, and I am going to show you what happened when I first put this on, and just to show you the little different tricks to do to get this lined up. So I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. What I ended up doing was putting this on the way it was, putting the hood on the way it was when I found out what I needed to do. And I wanted to show you. You see how this overlays over the tape? Right now, it's about a good, I want to say, 3/4 of an inch. Okay? So that is all twisted, off-centered, and we have a problem. So now, and this doesn't line up as well right here. Let me pull this tape back. I mean, it's pretty close. See that? But the problem is the front end is twisted, okay? And the reason I know that is, I mean, this gap on the door looks really good, but that's not the case because I need to adjust the front end because it's twisted, okay? And the way you find that out, well, there's two ways. One of my subscribers commented, Joe, how I can show him how to make this actually work, and I appreciate him leaving a comment. And I wanted to show you, there's two ways of doing it. And again, let me show you this side, right? So now I have a big gap here, and it's still pretty good up there, okay? You see that? That's still pretty good. Let me bring you closer, okay? And that almost lines up. Like I said, it's only off by maybe a 1/16 of an inch. So I want to show you, I'm going to put the camera up on the stand, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Be right back. Okay, like I said, there's two ways that I do it. I'm sure there's a lot of different ways. But this right here, a friend of mine lent it to me. It is a tandem, okay? And this would actually show you and tell you if you are square, okay? And the way you use this, you have an adjusting knob here, here, and here, so you could expand it out. And then again, you could just check for square basically from one point to the other. Okay, so here's your tape measure, 75 inches, and it expands and tells you, let me show you. Okay, see, here is your tape measure. Hopefully you guys can see that. And as you move it in, let me try to get closer. As you move in, it changes. You see that? So I hope that comes up in the camera because I don't have a cameraman. But anyway, this is called a tandem. And what you could do is basically figure out if your body is square. So you go from, let's say, your one fender over here, make sure everything is tight, the edge of your fender to the edge of your hood, and I'm by myself, which makes it difficult. Let me just expand that just a little bit. Okay, and go from the edge of your fender to the edge of your other fender, and that'll tell you if you measure 70, I'm at 79 and 3/16. Okay, so then if you go from here to here, you should have 79 and 3/16. But if you don't, hold on, this moved on me. If you don't have that measurement, they should be equal. So this basically tells you if you're square. Okay, so from one point to the other, if you have the same measurements and you measure to the same point, you should have equal distance. So that's how you tell if your front end is square with your fenders, your bumper, your hood. So this is the type of tool you'll need. You could also use a tape measure, but it's not as accurate because this tandem has little pin points right here, so you could know that you're right on the money when you install it. So, or adjust it rather. So I wanted to thank my buddy Roger for helping me out, giving me a tandem to figure that out. And it's right here. I'm sure you could find them on the internet. So I just wanted to thank him. So Joe, that's what I do. So now what the other thing is, I'm going to bring you down here and show you. I didn't move the hood. It's still off 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to show you what I did to line this up. Okay. Like I said, it's still off 3/4 of an inch. You could still see it right here. And in order for you to fix this, I'm going to show you a minor adjustment. So pop the hood open. And like I said, in my previous videos, the firewall is off. So this bolt on this side is actually loose right here. So you have, I'm sorry, right now it's really tight. So I tightened everything to the firewall. That side's tightened and this side is tightened. So that being said, what happens because that is so tight, it's racking the front end, and that's why they put shims in those areas. Now, like I said, 3/4 of an inch off here, that is super tight. So what I am going to do is I'm going to loosen this up, okay? And again, everything, don't misunderstand me, everything is loose. So I'm getting it to the point where I have to adjust and then tighten everything. So I'm loosening up this fender to the firewall, okay? All right, so it's pretty loose. It's about 3/8 of an inch away from the firewall. So I'm going to close the hood, okay? And I'm going to see if it moved. And it should have moved, but let's see, okay? So now it is still a little tight right here because it's hitting. But if I push it over a little bit, it's closed. So that being said, is your adjustments are on the firewall as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to loosen the passenger side firewall bolt to the fender and see if this moves over even more. And it should. Okay, so now I did that. I'm going to loosen this up over here. Just a little bit. And what that does, one of my friends asked me, how do you know that it's doing that? Because if you think about it, it's creating a pivot point. So when you go ahead and move the fender forward, it actually allows everything to shift to the right on that side. If you move everything here forward, it's going to shift everything to the left, if that makes any sense to you. So since I did that, I loosened these up on this side, so I'm just going to move my fender over a little bit because I noticed it was binding just that 1/16 of an inch. So we just move this a little bit and tighten it. But the whole video, I'm just making it snug. The whole video is making sure you get these little adjustments here and there. But like I said, it was off 3/4 of an inch before I moved this over. So let's see how that lines up now. Okay, see, now it's lifted and twisted. See, this is high and this is smooth. Okay, so that's telling me that either that shim has to come up, I'm sorry, that hinge needs to come up, or that hinge needs to go down in order for this to flatten out. But I'm going to bring you over here and show you exactly what it looks like now. Here we are. Now, like I said, everything is still loose, but the hood now closes. I got to move this fender over just a little bit. Like if you see in the beginning of the video, there's a little bit here. But now it doesn't hit that 3/4 of an inch as it did before. So I hope this helped. I hope I explained it well. But everything is still loose. The hood is still a little high here. I still have to fix that. That I'm not worried about. The fender over here looks pretty good. This looks pretty good right there. Now the bumper is loose. In case you're wondering, I want to show you this. This is sticking out, okay? Just that little bit right there. But because the bumper is loose, I'm just going to push it in with one hand. Just like that. And now it's lined up nicely. But like I said, this video is just to show you that you have so many adjustments on the front end of these GTOs that every little nut and bolt that you turn makes a difference, okay? So that's why I have to raise the radiator core support just to get this front end up. So I have to adjust the bolts to the firewall. So here we are, like I said. I know I'm repeating myself, but I just wanted you guys to see exactly what I'm doing. But look at this gap on this door now. See that? It's big. Before, when I had the firewall and the fender bolt tight, this was much less. So like I said, there's so many little adjustments that you can do that is going to make a big difference on adjusting your hood. But I'm happy with, oh, let me show you this side of the bumper. So right here, this is telling me, see that? That's telling me that this fender still should come out a little bit and then it'll line up. But again, that's also done with adjusting and tightening the fender. So the fender up against the firewall. So let's do that, and I'm going to show you what it looks like once everything's tightened up. I just got done tightening everything. I moved my fender over just a little bit. Like I mentioned, now this is nice and smooth. This side is nice and smooth. It's a little high here, but I'm not worried about that. I could fix that. That's not a problem. But what I would end up doing is just grinding this down a little bit and then feathering it out. There's probably 4 layers of paint on here and some filler anyway, so I could clean that up. I still have to get my bumper to go down. I'm sorry. I still have to get my hood to go down. The front end of the GTO needs to come up because I forgot to mention there is a bolt that holds the fender to the upper cowl panel that if I don't raise that up, I can't get this bolt in. It's pushed too far forward. So this whole front end needs to come up it's touching my bottom rocker, this fender and that fender. So basically the whole front end I have to lift up a good 3/8 to a ½ inch. So that being said, I'm going to bring you down here and I'm going to show you the gaps again. And then I think I am going to start disassembling everything and lifting up my radiator support. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm probably going to end up either cutting the bushing in half so I can lift it up. I don't think I'm going to make a video, but if you guys want to see a video, it'll be like a 10-minute video if you want to see it. Leave a comment if you do like to see it. So I'm going to turn the camera off and bring everything. Actually, I'm not going to turn the camera off. I'm just going to bring you down here and show you everything all over again. And if you liked the video, if you thought it helped you out, please like, please subscribe if you haven't, and support my channel. So then once I figure the radiator core support out, which I think is going to be very simple, like I mentioned, I am going to start doing the body work on the car. I'm at that point. I just got my motor a couple weeks ago. I got my radiator. I got my valve covers, and I'll make a quick video, an update video on that. So in the meantime, I'm going to bring you down here and show you how everything looks. So please like, please share, leave a comment. I always get back to my subscribers and my comments. So I'll see you in a little bit. Here you go. See, this is the front end, and like I said, this side fits very nicely right here. Just give you a view of that. That fits really nice. A little heavy down here, but again, filler. Gonna need some filler on these old cars. And then right here, it's high, but it's good here. So I have to figure what I'm gonna do with that. My gap here is open. Pretty much, it's hard to see because of the color, the black. Let me see if I could get you in there. There you go. See, that looks okay. And then you have this gap here all the way up. That looks pretty good as well. There you have it. And on this side, like I said, I moved everything over. The gap is nice, just like it was when I first started the video, because I have to move that just a breath. It doesn't hit. I use the hinges in the back to adjust on the firewall like I showed you. This is nice and flush right here. It's a little low right in this section. It's actually really good over here. So that's going to take some filler. And then it's good right here as well. This corner is nice. Again, I didn't do anything with the gap. So please like, share, and subscribe. This side here is actually really, really nice. Fits really good. It's a little high here, just like the other side. But other than that, I'm really happy with it. So that's about it for now. And then I think my next video is gonna be putting the front end on the grill mechanisms and all that. So like I said, leave a comment. If you like the video, please like, please share, subscribe if you haven't, and that's about it. A lot of work here, so please like, please share, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.